Okay, quick update. Alright, this is the nursery area. I use grow lights in here, and I keep them on around 14 hours a day. That is the recommendation from the manufacturer of the lights that will basically act like sunlight. So it's not an 8-hour, even a 12-hour thing. You have to leave them on 14 to 16 hours, and then your seedlings will grow like this. If you saw my last video, these marigolds had just popped up, and so by keeping them under the light, like I'm doing, they don't grow leggy, they don't grow too fast, they grow just right. Alright, so I've started another set of lettuce, the Paris Cos. I've got some petunias back here. They're kind of slow, but they'll speed up a little bit, and then some more okra. If you look at the video from the last time I did a video, these were very tiny plants. So at this point, they're actually ready to. The roots are looking really good, and they're ready to go in the ground or up pot them or get them in the ground. So, okay, just an update on the nursery. Talk to you soon. Alright, everybody. Welcome to TTT Urban Homestead, May 10th. It's been a couple weeks since I did a video. Been real busy doing some other stuff. Anyway, update. Amaranth, it looks like it's kind of dying off on the blooms. Strawberries are still blooming. I'm getting a few strawberries. Did pretty well this year. Still got some in the back. Alright, so over here on the fence line, I'm actually doing some work today. Putting in some marigolds. And I'm working on the second 8x8 section. But if you haven't seen, I've got corn in the back. I've got some cucumbers, melons, and things in these little cages. I just do that. I actually did the seed on these, so I wanted to make sure the seed germinated and popped up. And then this little cage might help me guide these plants over toward the fence over here, so that they'll climb on this fence, which is perfect for cucumber plants. I got some sweet corn in the back. I got amaranth, purple and green. There's a row here, and then a row of peppers, different types of peppers. I got banana, jalapeno, and green pepper, and then green beans here. And it's just about an 8-foot row. Try to give them some space. I am conditioning this soil. I've got a really thick pile of wood chips on here, and these were from last year. So when we put these wood chips on here, there was all kinds of worms and earthworms, things and worms that help the soil. And wherever there's worms provide nutrition to the soil, which in turn provides nutrition to the plants. Pansy's still going. It's actually 50-some degrees right now, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 56, I think. So it actually feels like it's April type weather. Alright, so on this back side here, I am putting in more. That is a Chame melon, Korean melon plant that I actually started indoors and then out to the greenhouse and then moved it out here. I put seeds in. Last time I came out here with the camera or the video, I had said I planted the seeds, and here are the results of those. These are sunflowers, different types, and I put them down about every 2 feet or so, all the way down the fence line. So I want the tall stuff on the back, and then I'm gradually, the stuff that vines I'm doing in this next row, and I'll try to get that to go to the fence. And even the sunflowers, I mean, those are good things that plants can grab onto, and it doesn't hurt the plant. So even the cucumbers can climb up the sunflowers and not have a problem. So in this other row, I'm thinking of doing some. So this is the amaranth in that first one. I was going to probably do some okra or eggplant, and then either one, it's going to be one row of one of those things, and then the next row will be the other thing. So eggplant and okra, and then I'll probably continue the peppers on down in this section, just about 8 foot long. I got plenty of peppers left that are already they're ready to plant, so I need to get them out. All right, so let's move up to the okra bed. I'm starting to plant okra here. So I do have more okra plants, but I put in about 4 here. I put one in the middle here, and then about 4 here. And I do have some volunteer dill, and I actually want to keep this dill, so this is perfect for adding to the cucumbers that we're picking from the greenhouse, and making a lot of times we just make refrigerator pickles, so it's makes it simple. All right, this is the eggplant, and still have collard greens in here. So once these kind of start bolting, I will be pulling them out, and I'll probably add another eggplant. So I have about 6 eggplants in here. I like to give them a lot of room because they grow pretty tall and produce pretty good when they have some space. And I usually cage them up also just for support, because they kind of grow like tomatoes where they split off into new shoots and things. So sometimes you want to actually control that a little bit so it doesn't, because once an eggplant comes out on a limb, it gets heavy. So, okay, big shot of the mint, and rosemary's in here somewhere. The oregano's kind of covering it up, but there is a rosemary bush down here that's been growing now a couple years. I could take some of these shoots and propagate that. But the oregano is this right here. Yep, that's good smelling oregano. And then there is still some sage in here somewhere. Yep, sage right here. So I started out with a couple sages. There is one on the other side. I don't see it. Okay, you know what? There's one little piece of sage coming out. Alright. My cactus, I'm going to add a picture in here because it had all these blooms on it, and I didn't do a video. It's pretty cool. I've never had a cactus before. This is from my niece and my sister, and I've never had it, so I just put it in like this container. They said to put rocks around it, so I did that, but I don't think that's what they meant. I think they meant to plant it in the ground with like sandy ground with some rocks around it. Usually grows pretty good. Alright, got some cosmos coming out here. Looks like pink ones. And I actually had a volunteer bachelor button growing here. And then this is my mixed flower thing that I took as a packet of mixed flowers like butter. I don't even know what some of these are. This looks like a zinnia. I don't know what all this is. We're just gonna see what happens. It looks like it's pretty full of one thing. So I'm just curious to what it is because I've never seen that particular plant, so I don't recognize it. Okay, headed to the back. All right, in the back. On the left side, raised bed, we've got onion patch going good. These are red and yellow onions. Radishes still doing real good. Looks like they're starting to bolt. But good radishes this year. I have put in nasturtium, is what it's called. Never planted before. They say it's a good plant for companion plant for cucumbers. So I've got 3 little mounds of cucumbers. These I actually had started in 6-pack. These I seeded. And so I've got, and those I seeded. So I'm going to get these going. I'm going to put a couple of posts in right about the middle part and then add a netting for them to climb on. And by the time they get going well, these collard greens they'll be done. All right, so we've added did some cleanup over here, looking good. One of my sons helped me do that. So I added a lettuce raised bed system here, and carrots. I didn't have enough bags of lettuce, but been rotating the lettuce. This is the second growing, and I've got a third growing up on the table. They're smaller, and I actually got a fourth growing in the house in 6-pack and 2 6-packs, so that's 12 plants, and I can actually fit 12 plants on here, but we've been using it. So I think there's another plant over there where we've been picking the leaves off. All right, for this raised bed on the right side of the yard, green beans. Haven't really looked real close, but now that I look, I see that they're starting to sprout some flowers, and once they do that, then we'll have green beans. My volunteer celery is looking good. I gotta learn more about celery, when to actually harvest this, because we just come out, we might just pull a stalk off and use that when we need it. Right now I'm not really storing it. This particular one it started earliest because it sprouted up by itself. I got a couple of sweet corn, 2-3 sweet corns back here, and I'll probably put in some more green beans in here to fill it in, but I do have green beans in the front, so that's good to go. On the trellising tomatoes here, these are the vine tomatoes, looking really good. The plants seem to be real strong and producing little babies, and then some of them actually the babies are pretty big. Now on these, I'm not sure what do you call it, what brand this is. They're supposed to be beefsteak, but I think I mixed in some Russian purple tomatoes. They got a weird shape to them and stuff. And then some of them are the normal round. So the trellises are looking good. This is the trellis up here. And I got strings, this twine that I use, and then these little clips. I'll put a link to that stuff in the information area. But tomatoes are looking real good. Normally, you wouldn't have tomatoes in May like this, But like I said before, I started everything in this greenhouse, kept it above 50, and that will really give you a head start on your tomato plants. This side, same another trellising system that I set up here. Basically, it's just two of these landscape timbers. I put them in the ground, and I actually staked, put another post in here to kind of hold it steady. So that's really sturdy. And then I got a wire that goes across here. It's not actually as tall as this one over here, as far as the height from the bag, the top of the bag to the line itself. But this gives me the capability of like 14 or 15 more plants. And these actually have baby tomatoes on them too. Alright, moving along. The potato bags, I have now filled in the dirt to the top of the bag. We had some rain today, so the plants are kind of leaning. But these plants are from doing potatoes last year. These plants seem to be a lot bigger than the ones I had last year. These were seed potatoes that I got from Home Depot, and we'll see how that goes. Getting ready to do some tomato slips, sweet potato slips in these bags. So that's another. I had to do this on the hill, so I try to make these level, so when I'm watering, things are leveled out. It's not perfect, but I try to get it level enough to where the water's not running all to one side. Alright, update on the mustard green. These are volunteer mustard green in the yard that the seeds had come off on one of the bags I had over here last year. And now it's producing these pods, the seed pods. There's so many of them. So I'm going to get a really decent amount of mustard green seeds from this. This is what happens when the plant bolts and you get the flowers, and then once it gets the bees do what they do, then you end up with the flower itself. Will the little stem on the flower turns into this little pod. Pretty neat process that I didn't know about when I first started doing mustard greens and stuff. I didn't know that, but there's a lot of seed. I mean, that whole area is just all seed pods now, so that's going to be a lot of seeds, way more than I need. And okay, this area is the Roma tomatoes, which are determinate bush tomatoes. And I'm going to go, let's see here. Let's go to the table. Here's the the third growing of the romaine lettuce, Paris Cots romaine lettuce. I've got some more eggplants here. Some are, the ones in the 6-pack actually are taller than the ones in the little pint container. So that's just, I don't know. Sometimes that's the way it goes. They might have stalled a little bit when I transplanted them into the pint, but they did not stall when I left them in the 6-pack. All right, here's a container of oregano. Doing good. And then here is my celery plants. I put one per container, and they're doing real good. And radishes. Okay, the radishes and I had this in the greenhouse. They're bolting. So I did do the video from last year shows what the pods look like for the radish. So if you let the radish bolt and you're able to let it grow in the container and do the flowering, you'll end up with seed pods. So most of these Pretty sure most of them are actually seed from last year, so the radishes. So I can still harvest. I would not harvest. I would not eat this radish, the radish that's bolted, because I think the flavor is pretty much, there's no flavor in them at all once they bolt. Okay, so this is the strawberries that are on the raised bag system. And we've been picking, I see red in here. So pretty nice strawberries coming off of the bags. And then I do have volunteer stuff growing in here too. That is a dill plant. So the bag system works well. We've harvested quite a few strawberries off of that. Here is the beet area. These are beets. There is 6 bags of beets, and I haven't grown beets before. I remember doing it when we were kids, but I'll keep an eye on it. I'll look it up and make sure I harvest these when I need to. I think this is a parsley, I think. Yeah, some parsley in there. And then the onion bags. So I've cleaned out a lot of the onion bags. They had a lot of volunteer basil and things in there, so I've cleaned most of that out. And that's the one of the collard plants that we've been still harvesting off of, and they haven't bolted, so keep harvesting until we do. Alright, moving to the greenhouse. Lemon balm plants are just blowing up in the heat in here. Usually stays about 10 degrees hotter in here. So lemon balm. I got some more pepper plants over here. And then this is going to be one of my pepper areas. I'm going to try it because I know that pepper plants tend to really do well in June, July, when the heat is really on. And so I'm going to run some bags in here, all the different types that I grow, which is 3 basically, banana, jalapeno, and green pepper. So we're going to grow them in here also, outside, and try it that way. So in here I do have some baby plants, cosmos and basils that I pulled out. Some of these basils that I pulled out of the onion bags, and petunias. I just pulled them out really easily. I dug them out and just transplanted them, and they're doing well. That petunia down there actually almost looked like it was dead the other day, and now it's kind of coming back to life. They're pretty resilient. So alright, and then some more strawberry plants up here, don't know what to do with, and basil. So I'm thinking about taking this one to my mom. It's all set up nice, one of these little stackable things, but I put in 4 basils in there, and then I do have some more stuff here to get transplanted out, and more basil here, and oregano, and I actually have one of these amaranths left. Alright, over to the, okay, so here is, if I can pull out, I can't really pull out, but this is the cucumber area that has been going a couple months, probably 2 months or so, and doing very well now with the heat, and and the melons. So I have these Korean melons, chame melons. I just gotta find one. Now I can't. Okay, there we go. There it is. So it kind of looks like that when it gets started, and it grows just like a cucumber. So if you can trellis it if you want, or put it near a fence, and these things grow just like, they have tentacles that come out, grab onto things, and you can grow them just like cucumbers. And it doesn't take forever for them to be ready. So do have some this stuff here is, I forget the name of it. I might put the name in the video, but I'll spray some peroxide, a mixture of diluted peroxide and water, and to try to control that. But that's what cucumbers do. They get these diseases and stuff, and knocks out the plant. There's a decent one there. We picked about 6 of them this morning. Not a lot, but we'll take those, slice them up, and put them in a jar, and put in some pickle mix, and then set them in the refrigerator for 4 days or so. And I'll even throw in some of the dill that we have, some fresh dill, because it just really brings up the flavor. All right, and here is sweet potato slips right here. As you can see, it has some roots on it. So you take these slips, and I'll be taking these. I'll take a couple slips or so and put them in each of our bags. All right, so I'll update. Oh, we had the wood chip pile. I think last time I did show the wood chip pile. The wood chip pile has been moved to different locations, and one of the locations is back here. So it's all wood chips back here. If you need to recondition your soil and things like that, wood chips are the perfect method. It's not instant. It takes time, but if you pile up 3 to 4 inches of wood chips on an area of soil, it will help rejuvenate that soil. The worms are what's doing it. It keeps the soil moist, and then they come up and start eating the wood chips and things. They love cardboard and all that. So you put cardboard down, wood chips, compost, whatever it is, and then you end up with worms underneath. And once the worms are there and doing their thing, then you're getting worm castings in the soil, and that's all good for the soil and then good for the plants. All right, so looking good. Kind of dreary day. Like I said, it feels like April in here today, but please like and subscribe and share, and I will update the nursery after this. All right, bye.